one of the greatest and strongest Saiyans of all time. He who always obtains his power through his own merit, and today finds himself on a level that rivals the gods. But the reality is that he and Goku always continue to evolve. Taking it from this angle, we will finally bring to light the total and true potential of the Prince of Science, Vegeta. Just like him, unleash all your potential, and already join us on this journey. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and activate the bell. Before anything, we know a lot about him, and how much he suffered for always being behind Goku, and at some point even behind Trunks from the future, who is his son. But he didn't know that yet. Vegeta was left behind, unable to achieve his Super Saiyan form. So he had his ups and downs as always, but more on the downside, right? But with time, that changed when he discovered that fighting for someone would make him even stronger. And it was these bonds that made him reach the level he is at today, and he will still reach even greater heights. Stay until the end of the video, and don't mess with Bulma, got it guys. Vegeta was never a warrior who explodes in power suddenly. Unlike some of his peers, he has always been the kind of fighter who grows little by little, with firm but steady steps. His trajectory, from the moment he appeared as an enemy in Dragon Ball Z until reaching the fearsome power of Ultra Ego in the Dragon Ball Super manga, is marked by discipline, determination, and tactical refinement that few warriors possess. Vegeta's journey to the top was not made of sudden leaps, but of tireless effort, where each defeat served as a lesson and each victory as a step towards something greater. If we look at the timeline of his evolution, it is possible to realize how much each transformation demanded from him, not only physically, but also emotionally and mentally. When Goku became Super Saiyan for the first time, Vegeta had to deal with the weight of seeing someone considered low-class reach a level that he, the Prince of Science, had not reached. That deeply hurt his pride, but also pushed him. He then trained alone, isolated, testing the limits of his own body in extreme environments until he managed to awaken his own transformation. This process, which took months, revealed the style of evolution he would follow throughout his life, painful, lonely, and driven by a raw will to never be left behind. While Goku often had masters, partners, and even spiritual shortcuts to guide him, Vegeta sought his power with his own hands. When Super Saiyan 2 appeared, it was amid anger and frustration, channeling intense emotions boiling inside him. Later, when seeking Super Saiyan God, he did not count on the ritual like Goku, but rather on his silent and disciplined training alongside Whis, where he learned that being strong was not just about crushing enemies with power, but understanding timing, flow, breathing, and posture on the battlefield. Years passed, and even with Goku always reaching transformations first, Vegeta never settled for being second. He wanted to be the best, not out of empty pride, but because he believed that only with him the Saiyan race could regain dignity. Each transformation came with sweat and self-sacrifice, but none represents this philosophy as much as Ultra Ego. Ultra Ego is not a form obtained in a burst. It is not a product of luck or despair. It is a power that demands self-knowledge, mastery over one's own pride, and acceptance of pain as part of growth. When Beerus reveals this path to Vegeta, he does not offer a magic formula but a concept. Accept destruction as part of being, and become stronger as you take hits. A principle that requires physical endurance, but even more emotional endurance. And for someone like Vegeta, who spent his whole life controlling his impulses and emotions, giving up control to fuel his power was a brutal but revealing process. It took years of continuous evolution to reach this point. From the end of the Majin Buu saga to the most recent events in the manga, Vegeta changed drastically. It is not just his strength that grew, but also his mentality as a warrior. He understood that true power does not come only from the transformation itself, but from what it represents. And Ultra Ego, with all its savagery and brutality, is the culmination of decades of growth, loss, pain, sacrifice, and conscious effort. By achieving it, Vegeta not only becomes stronger, he becomes, perhaps for the first time, truly free. Comparing him to Broly, this contrast becomes even clearer. Broly is the definition of raw talent, a Saiyan with almost animal instincts, who adapts in battle with absurd speed. While Vegeta took years to achieve and stabilize forms like Super Saiyan God or Blue, Broly needed minutes in combat to reach similar or even higher power levels. His adaptation is instinctive, almost as if his body is always prepared to evolve the moment it senses danger. In terms of explosive ascension, Broly is a natural phenomenon. However, precisely because of this, Broly is inconsistent. He depends on the chaos of battle to grow. His strength is not the result of technique, but of instinctive response. He is powerful, yes, but like a force of nature, unpredictable, uncontrollable, and often more dangerous to himself than to the enemy. His lack of combat reading, strategy, and emotional control means his raw power is sometimes poorly utilized. In contrast, Vegeta, even if not evolving as quickly, is a master of reading the battlefield. There is no other Saiyan, alive or dead, with the analytical ability that Vegeta possesses. He is capable of reading enemy movements, predicting patterns, adapting his stance, and even correcting technical flaws during combat. His mind is like a chess player's. Every strike is calculated, every retreat strategic, every advance made with awareness of risk and consequence. This becomes evident in his most recent fights, where even facing more powerful opponents, he manages to dominate them with intelligence and efficiency. Broly may be a runaway tank, but Vegeta is a sharp spear that knows exactly where to pierce. And this difference defines the true potential of each. Broly may win fights by power explosion, but Vegeta wins wars by persistence and long-term adaptation. Ultra Ego did not appear in Vegeta by chance. It was the result of a path he traveled for decades, dealing with his failures, doubts, and past. A path no other Saiyan has walked with such awareness. Vegeta learned to lose to learn how to win. Broly, still in his war infancy, needs to learn to understand himself before trying to dominate others. In the end, while many look at transformations and measure warriors only by the shine of their forms, those who truly know the Dragon Ball universe know that Vegeta is the one who represents the true art of growth. It is not about reaching power faster. It is about knowing how to maintain it, control it, and use it at the right moment. And in this, there is no one like him. Vegeta is the warrior who did not explode. He ascended, step by step, until becoming a god by his own right. Vegeta is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most fascinating and complex characters in the entire Dragon Ball universe. Prince of the extinct Saiyan race. He carries within himself not only the royal blood, but also a heritage marked by destruction, pride, and an almost obsessive thirst for surpassing himself. Since he first appeared as a terrible villain in the Saiyan saga, Vegeta has always shown an aura of superiority, convinced that he was the most powerful warrior in the universe. However, what started as a cold and ruthless antagonist evolved over time into one of the greatest heroes of the franchise, capable of acts of compassion, sacrifice, and above all, personal growth. From the very beginning, Vegeta stands out as someone who refuses to be behind anyone, especially Goku. This rivalry is perhaps one of the greatest fuels for his evolution. But unlike what many think, Vegeta's journey is not just a shadow of Kakarot's path. On the contrary, he has always followed his own way. While Goku reached new levels through intensive training with masters like King Kai, Whis, or even Miras, Vegeta grew driven by his wounded pride, his responsibility as prince, and later, by his love for the family he formed on Earth. Throughout the story, Vegeta has demonstrated an impressive capacity for adaptation. Even without receiving the same types of teachings as Goku, he was able to reach equivalent or, at certain moments, even superior power levels. The Super Saiyan God form is a great example of this. While Goku obtained it through a ritual involving 5 pure-hearted Saiyans, Vegeta achieved this transformation by training alone with Whis. This already makes it clear that his battle instinct is refined enough to break barriers by his own effort, without needing to follow conventional paths. Vegeta is, after all, a born warrior, shaped amid chaos and destruction, but also guided by constant internal evolution. When we talk about the forms Vegeta has reached, it is essential to highlight how each of them represents not only a gain in strength, but also a step in his transformation as a character. From the regular Super Saiyan that he reached still in the Cell Saga through pure effort and stubbornness, to Super Saiyan 2, which explodes in fury in the fight against Goku, each phase shows a Vegeta who is more impatient, more intense. But it is only from Super Saiyan Blue that a deeper change is noticed. He begins to understand that raw power is not everything. Serenity, strategy, and emotional control are also parts of true power. Vegeta does not limit himself to known forms. He also develops his own paths. The most recent example of this is the Ultra Ego form, revealed in the manga during the Granola Saga. Unlike Goku's Ultra Instinct, which depends on emptying the mind and automatic self-defense, Ultra Ego is fueled by a destructive instinct, a mentality of accepting pain as a means of strengthening. This form, taught to him by the god of destruction Beerus, shows that Vegeta is not afraid to stray from Goku's path and walk a style entirely his own, even if it is riskier. It is a transformation that represents Vegeta's very essence: pride, challenge, and obstinacy, comparing him with other Saiyans. What impresses most about Vegeta is the consistency of his evolution. While Gohan, for example, had moments of great power, but fluctuated over time by prioritizing his civilian life, and future Trunks emerged as a hero in times of crisis, but did not keep pace with the protagonist's evolution, Vegeta never stopped growing. Even Broly, with his brutal and latent power, is still a raw diamond compared to the refined polishing that is Vegeta. He is the Saiyan who, even born with less potential than Goku, according to Whis himself, is capable of breaking his limits by pure force of will. But perhaps the most emblematic moment of his journey is when he fights Beerus because of a slap the god of destruction gave Bulma. At that moment, we see a Vegeta who transcends all his limits by pure instinct of protection. The prince's pride does not accept that his wife be hurt with impunity, and even against an immensely stronger opponent, he manages to wound Beerus and surprise even Whis. This moment is not just about power, it is about motivation. Vegeta fights there for love, respect, for everything he built on Earth. He is no longer just the lonely warrior seeking strength. He is a father, husband, protector, and that makes his strength even more real and profound. Another notable feat was in the Majin Buu saga. Vegeta lets himself be corrupted by Babidi to gain more power and fight Goku on equal terms, which shows how much his rivalry still burned intensely inside him. But even under evil influence, he maintains enough control to sacrifice himself for the Earth, exploding in an attempt to destroy Buu. This attitude sums up the character's duality. A proud warrior, yes, but capable of redeeming himself and giving his life for others. This sacrifice shows that, on some level, Vegeta had already surpassed Goku in terms of emotional maturity. Over time, Vegeta also became a master, albeit a reluctant one. He trained Trunks, encouraged Cabba from Universe 6 to become stronger, and demonstrated a type of leadership that goes beyond physical strength. In Cabba, he saw the continuation of his race, the future of the Saiyans, and even without openly showing it, guided the young man with firmness and pride. This shows that Vegeta, unlike Goku, understands the weight of the Saiyans' heritage. For him, it is not just about fighting, but also about preserving the dignity of the people to which he belongs. Another often neglected but extremely important aspect is how Vegeta evolved without relying on resurrections or tricks. While Goku was saved several times thanks to the help of allies or devices like the Dragon Balls, Vegeta usually had to face the consequences of his defeats head-on. He got beaten, fell, but always got up with more determination. This difference in path between him and Goku is part of what makes his journey so powerful. Vegeta represents overcoming through continuous effort, through insistence. He is not the chosen one. He is the one who chose not to give up. Even in the Tournament of Power, his performance was crucial. He defeated Toph, who had awakened the power of a god of destruction, with his new version of the evolved blue form, a type of transformation that had not been shown by Goku until then. And again, his motivation was his family, remembering Bulma, Trunks, and Bra. Vegeta breaks his barriers and launches an attack that represents all his pride, his responsibility as a father, and his loyalty as a warrior. And although Goku was the last standing along with Frieza and number 17, Vegeta's importance in that tournament was fundamental to keeping Universe 7 alive. Technically speaking, Vegeta's strength has never ceased to be impressive. He possesses an almost immediate battle reading, can quickly adapt to fighting styles, and on various occasions demonstrated superiority in raw power. Goku is more creative in combat, more flexible, but Vegeta is pure efficiency and calculation. His strategic mind is as sharp as his fists, and that made him face and overcome enemies many considered impossible. The central point of all this is that Vegeta was never a stagnant character. He is in constant transformation, both physical and emotional, from an arrogant villain to a reluctant hero, from a resentful rival to a dedicated father. He went through a journey that few characters have experienced with such depth. His pride, often seen as a flaw, is also what drives him to never settle. He is not content to be second, and even if the world sees him that way, he knows his path is unique and incomparable, and that is precisely what makes Vegeta so admired. He is flawed, stubborn human, even being from another race. He represents the human effort to become better, day after day. In a universe where many characters receive powers out of nowhere or have a predetermined destiny, Vegeta is the one who earns every drop of his strength with blood, sweat, and overcoming. And although he keeps saying he does nothing for anyone, his actions always reveal the opposite. He fights for his family, for his adopted planet, for the honor of his people. And for that, when exploring Vegeta's true potential, we realize he is not just the prince of the Saiyans. He is the symbol of constant evolution, the fight for dignity, and the strength born from pride transformed into purpose.